You are now watching The Lone Blown. Blown! Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? You're back here at The Lone Blown. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And today we're going to be going over Decidueye Obstagoon, or as a lot of peeps call it, Decigoons. Decigoons is one of those decks that actually made the top 3 best budget decks in December 2020. And I think it also made the top 5 best decks in 2020. For competitive decks in December. Maybe not, maybe it was like my 6th place choice. Either way, this deck is competitive, very good, and a lot of people don't really talk about it too much anymore, but it's really carried by the fact that Decidueye blocks V, VMAX, and GX Pokemon, and Obstagoon stops your opponent's non-evolved Pokemon. So if your opponent's not prepared for that, we can totally take advantage of their stuff. If you're looking for any of the cards in this deck, feel free to go to PTCGO store, plug in code ZLASAGE5. You can also find that same code in the description below, along with a few other sponsor things. And since you're already here, give this video a like, a thumbs up. You could subscribe to the channel as well. So just for more great Pokemon content, let's jump into a full-blown deck profile here. So jumping right into it, we're going to start off with Decidueye, the main Pokemon of this deck. That's why it's Decigoons and not Snorlax Goons or something like that. Decidueye here with the Deep Forest Camo ability stops all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's V, VMAX, and GX Pokemon. So some Pokemon that it would stop that would be very popular would be Scorch VMAX, Zacian V, Arceus Dialga Palkia GX. So those would be 3 very good examples of Pokemon that could not get through Decidueye. Other Pokemon that can get through Decidueye would be like Volcanion, Aegislash-V because it has an attack that goes through everything. Other things that do go through Decidueye would be like Alolan Muck GX. Or there's also just like Crobat V's Poison. Things like that are not damaged do get through Decidueye, so do take note of that. Usually when you're playing this deck, you want to isolate Pokemon that can actually get through Deep Forest Camo or Obstagoon's Obstruct, and then kind of stop those Pokemon in their tracks. Basically, once you get Decidueye set up, you chill there with Deep Forest Camo. You don't need to attack to keep Deep Forest Camo in play, and then just keep on using Splitting Arrow until your opponent runs out of Pokemon that can attack through Decidueye. The deck also plays Obstagoon as a way to get around Pokemon that do not evolve. So in decks like, what would be a good example? Blacephalon, for example. If Blacephalon has no evolution Pokemon, which the deck very typically doesn't, Obstruct gets through it, whereas Decidueye would just lose to that deck. And of course, it's going to evolve from the Galarian Zigzagoon, which allows you to play some damage counters with Untamed Shout and Headbutt Tantrum. Now, the one difference about Obstagoon's Obstruct attack and Decidueye's Deep Force Camo ability is that Obstruct isn't an attack. You have to use Obstruct in order for you to stop the damage done to the Pokemon, or done by attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon. That's really where it's at. So going through the deck profile, which I don't think it's going to take too long. Snorlax is here because you have access to Pokemon Communication, Quick Ball, and Capture Energy to kind of sit into a Snorlax and use Gourmandize to get set up. Don't worry about getting it out of the active spot because we do have access to Scoop Up Net in this deck. We did go over these two Pokemon, but namely this is a very good Baby Blacephalon counter. Try to look at your opponent's deck list. A lot of online tournaments, you do get to see what your opponent is playing in their deck. If you're just playing this deck on the ladder, you might experience a few scoops because no one wants to run against a deck that just beats theirs. This deck is really mainly a metagame counter. When your opponent just does not have a counter to this deck, you just win. And if they do have a counter, you try to isolate that counter, otherwise you just lose. It's very black and white, so if you're new to the game, this might allow you to have an answer or catch a top player off guard. Totally one of the decks that I would recommend starting off in this game 100%. The deck does play Jirachi, Stellar Wish, so you could look at the top 5 cards of your deck, grab a trainer card, namely Rare Candy, or something that allows you to turn into a Decidueye or an Obstagoon, and then put it to sleep. You don't need to worry about the sleep too much because you do have copies of Scoop Up Nets. No, you do only have 4 copies of Scoop Up Net, no copies of Switch. So it is going to be difficult to get these Pokemon at the active spots. Be careful about that. There is a copy of Mew to get around Cramorant V, and to get around Pikachu and Zekrom GX's Tag Bolt GX attack. Now, normally those matchups are not too bad, but the Mew here does help you prevent them from knocking out Pokemon on your bench. Mimikyu is basically because Mewtwo and Mew GX is everywhere. It's even in Pika-ROM decks, Mewtwo Lightning decks, Mewtwo Welder decks. I've even seen a few Psychic Mewtwo decks popping around. Mimikyu is going to stop those and stop your opponent big time. Phione gives you an option to just like switch their Pokemon around. So maybe they have something that's attacking into you, or maybe you want to save a bench space off or something like that. Whirlpool Suction can be very helpful in a lot of cases. Ordinary Rod is to really get your Pokemon and basic energy back. Maybe you need Obstagoon for a certain matchup, or you were forced to discard a Decidueye early and you're like, hey, I only have one left. That's where Ordinary Rod's going to be your friend. Pokemon Communication with 20 Pokemon, there are going to be plenty of choices to put back into your deck to get yourself set up with the ideal Pokemon in any matchup. Quick Ball's a 4 of staple in most decks. Rare Candy is really to turn Galarian Zigzagoon into Galarian Obstagoon, or to turn Rowlet into Decidueye. We do play 2 copies of Dartrix, just in case your opponent does play Vikavolt V in their deck. Now, if Vikavolt V does slip from popularity, which it's starting to, you could honestly cut 1 to 2 of these Dartrix for other consistency cards in the deck, or other techs as necessary. Scoop Up Net works on every single Pokemon in this deck, so maybe you have a Pokemon that's just the wrong Pokemon in the active, or you need to preserve some resources, you can just scoop it back into your hands and see what's poppin'. Got a copy of Bosss Orders. Now, one's a little bit on the light side, but you could bring up something like your opponent's only a Rangaroo or only Duraludon and start attacking into it before your opponent gets to it. If they bench it too early or can't get it set up in one turn, this could be a game-winning combination. Marnie is just to continuously refresh your hand without discarding resources, and to put your opponent in a disruptive spot so they can't find their counters to your deck. A couple copies of Research just makes the deck a little bit more consistent. And then we have Rosa here. You could play this if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Typically, this card's very good if you have most of the pieces in your hands, or if you have most of your pieces in play, because you could search for a Pokemon, a trainer card, and an energy card. So that could be a Decidueye, a Rare Candy, and a Grass Energy, or maybe an Obstagoon, or maybe you just need something in general. This usually gets you all of the missing pieces. We got Aromatic Grass Energy to get around like Crobat's Poison, Alolan Muck GX, things like this that just stops special conditions. It can't be affected by special conditions, so that's the other part that really would make Decidueye hurt a little bit. It also counts as a Grass Energy. You got the copies of Capture Energy to search your deck out for Rowlets or Zigzagoons. Most of these Pokemon are Colored Energy, Colorless Energy. Colored Energy, Colorless Energy. Couple copies of Dark, couple copies of Grass Energy to kind of round this deck out. I mean, I think that this list is pretty basic, but that's what you need. You need decks like this that have a consistent core to get set up with Deep Forest Camo and Obstruct to stop your opponent in any capacity. So, not the longest deck profile, I know, but basically it's going to get set up. We're going to play a few games, maybe get some scoops, maybe your opponent has counters. This deck is basically, does your opponent have a counter? Yes, no. If yes, you likely lose the game. If not, you 100% win the game. So that's really where this deck's strength comes from. So you'll see in the video. Let's check it out. Okay, so we're gonna see exactly how this goes. Calling the flip. This is a deck that I think we want to go second with, just so that we have our option to play supporters. So let's go tails. We won the flip, and we want to go second. Doesn't really change too much here, and you can see we started with a Jirachi, so maybe we're gonna be okay here. We're gonna see exactly what our opponent's playing down. So since our opponent's playing Sinistea, I can only imagine that this is going to be Mad Party, which means that Decidueye might be a tough matchup. Let's go with, I guess that means we want to go with Obstagoon. Let's go Quick Ball, discarding... Ordinary Rod seems very good. All these cards seem good. I'm going to discard Ordinary Rod. And I'm going to go Zigzagoon. We can draw a prize card here on this Sinistea, stopping our opponent very quickly. To me, this sounds very good. Just getting Pokemon out of the way seems very good, because this is a Pokemon we got to watch out the most for. Okay, so we're going to draw a prize card there. That's not a bad prize card. Now, before we go in with our deck, we are going to grab this Pokemon. I don't really think there's too much else that we want to grab here. I think maybe just grabbing Phione is probably a better choice, or grabbing Jirachi. I'm going to grab Jirachi just to be on the safe side. And then we're going to go Stellar Wish for Scoop Up Nets. Now, with us having Rare Candy in our hand, I'm just going to vibe here and pass. So, not the greatest start off to the deck, no supporter for us, but we were able to take a Sinistea out on our opponent's turn. And this might give us a better chance in this matchup. And if we can get past Bunnelby, I think we're pretty good. We just really got to watch out for the Poltegeist. So, Obstruct is going to be of the essence. They've discarded a lot of resources so far. Not so many mad partiers. So this could be a really good next turn for us, especially if we can send up Jirachi, get a Pokemon out, evolve Obstagoon, knock out this Pokemon for 3 damage counters with Untamed Shouts. We could be in a very good spot. What is our opponent going to do? Okay. So let's go. I almost want to get the knockout here. How does this U-turn board... If it's discarded from play, okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't like if the Pokemon this is attached to isn't knocked out by damage from an attack or something like that. So let's go Rare Candy here first. Draw another prize card. I don't want to give them the mobility option, so let's take this out. If we can get a Rare Candy, we're in business. If not, we might not be in business. I mean, I think we got to go for the Rare Candy here. So just taking out those Sinisteas, you probably want to play the ones with 40 HP. I'm going to get another energy on there. Actually, part of me really wants... No, let's not risk it. Let's just go Marnie here. I'm just going to attach the energy there so we can get build up with another Obstruct. And I mean, of course, if our opponent gets a knockout here, I think we're okay. But I don't think they're going to be knocking out our Obstagoon anytime soon. We just Marnied them. They don't really have too much going on here. I think they're going to take a knockout, and then we can start attacking with after we use Rosa with Obstruct. So let's go ahead here and pass. And I think our opponent's just going to take the knockouts. I don't see what else they could really do unless they got a supporter of some sorts. We do got to watch out for their Sinistea. But again, I think with us only having to deal with one, as long as our opponent doesn't play Crushing Hammers, we're probably okay here. And this is why you play the 40 HP one, or at least a splits. Playing all of the 30 HP leaves you open to situations like this that are preventable. So our opponent's just getting a bunch in their discard pile. I mean, I guess this would be a really weird time to see if we've prized both of our dark energies. probably should have checked the prize cards out a little bit more. Sometimes when I play decks like this, I just go on autopilot mode and I'm like, what's going on? What are we doing? But I mean, I think we're okay. So our opponent's hitting for 120 now, which is good to know. Let's just send up. I don't think there's any difference between sending these two up. I'm going to send up this Galarian Obstagoon, and we're going to go forward with the Rosa. Please tell me there's a dark. Phione seems good. Ordinary Rod seems good. Dark Energy seems very good. So there's the Dark Energy. Phione going on the bench. I mean, we could choose other Pokemon to knock out. Obviously, we just want to knock out this Pokemon. And let's just go for Obstruct. I don't really see what else we want to do here. And if they get the knockout, we do have the Pokemon Communication Snorlax Ordinary Rod play where we go Ordinary Rod first, can grab out our Pokemon. The fact that we got Quick Ball there is also kind of hot, because that means that we can get out some of our other Pokemon too. So our opponent's only option to attack with is with Poltegeist now. They do have to get another Pokemon in their discard pile in order to attack with Poltegeist. And I'm not terribly worried about this so far. Okay, so that's going to be the full 160, but with this Pokemon only having 60 HP, this should be their entire chance in the game here. See, there's no other Sinistea to play down. They have all of them in their discard pile because we took care of them very early. And then we're just going to go up Galarian Obstagoon here. So here we're going to go Ordinary Rod. We're going to get back as many things as possible. 1, 2, 3. And then we could just go Quick Ball. I don't really care too much about the Grass Energy here. For the Obstagoon. Might as well put the damage counter where it might matter. I guess I could have also put it down on a Bunnelby and then Rare Candy into game next turn. I'm not super concerned about that. I'm just going to go Rosa, grabbing a Mimikyu, a Rare Candy, since we do have a Rare Candy. So let's grab a Bosss Orders and a Dark Energy. So we're going to go Mimikyu so they can't use Dance of the Ancients, Dark Energy, and I mean, I think we have Win in play next turn. But we're going to go Obstruct, and our opponent will not be able to attack us. Because Obstruct stops them, again, from... It prevents all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon. So they can't use Dance of Tribute, even though their hand's massive. They really can only attack us with Poltegeist, and if they had a way to attack with Galarian Mr. Rime, that would be another way to get through this damage. So, I mean, we ended up hitting a deck that can beat our deck, usually has a very good matchup against the deck, and we stopped it. Pretty explanatory here. So just a textbook case of our opponent overbenching, likely playing the wrong Sinesteas, and a few other factors. Okay, so we lost the coin flip. That's completely fine. We're going second anyways, which I'm totally cool with. And here it looks like we're starting with Lone Rowlet. That's always... it's always a little scary to start with Lone Rowlet. I guess we'll see what our opponent's playing real quick. Playing Capture Energy. I wonder what they're gonna... Is this Eternatus? Vikavolt. Interesting. I am going to go Grass Energy down here, because to me it makes sense to just get Grass Energy. If we end up getting a Capture Energy, sure, we might get punished for that. But maybe not, right? We're going to put Jirachi down so we don't instantly lose the game. And I'm going to go Skill Dive and start just hitting into these Pokemon. I don't know if there's any numbers that make sense or not. If our opponent does not attack this turn, I mean, we could just start attacking with Decidueye. I'd very much like it for them not to attack with Vikavolt V. because we do have the Rare Candy Decidueye. They could attack maybe with a Tapu Koko Prism, but maybe not this turn. Again, we gotta cross our fingers here. And they've attached energy for their turn. So far, they don't have a lightning energy. They'd have to get like a Professors Research. They've already gone through a few things. Okay, so it's some kind of Orbital Vikavolt deck. That's kind of cute. And we did get the Rare Candy Decidueye out, which is super nice. So let's go capture energy to just get out another one. Rowlet, that is. Rare Candy here into Decidueye. And we're going to start searching things out with Turffield Stadium. So Dartrix is going to be huge. This is why the deck plays 2 Dartrix to get around Vikavolt. We explained that in the deck profile of the video. And we got some energies. I mean, definitely got a couple energies prized, but that's okay. Let's go ahead here and go Splitting Arrow for 90. And let's start doing damage to Pokemon that matter. This is a Pokemon that they have, what, 250 HP. So 90, 180, 190. Let's just start hitting Pokemon that might matter. I mean, they're doing a slow amount of damage. We're doing a slow amount of damage. But we are doing more damage than they are doing. So that is something to be noted. But we're basically stuck in top deck lands. And another thing too is our opponent does play VMAX and GX Pokemon. So I guess it should also be noted that our opponent's VMAX Pokemon and GX Pokemon are not doing damage to Decidueye. So they're going to try to focus on Jirachi or Rowlet. I'd say the fact that we got Decidueye set up fairly quickly means we're pretty good. And remember that Deep Forest Camo does stay in play the whole game. So I actually don't see how our opponent's going to be able to win this game. I think they're just going to go Paralyzing Bolts and we can continuously get set up. So we can't use our items. That's fine. I am going to evolve. I am going to grab another Decidueye here. And our opponent's probably like, what the heck is going on? Why is our damage not going through? We are just going to go Splitting Arrow and continuously attack into these Pokemon. I think those are going to be quicker to knock out over time. I'm just choosing them because they're... Realistically, the 90, 20, 20 doesn't matter. Just got to vibe out here. And our opponent's trying to get the knockout with the Tapu Koko Prism Star. Doing 120. Maybe I should start building up damage there. That might be better for this matchup. They can start doing 90s here, which might hurt. Yeah, so let's start attacking into that Tapu Koko Prism Star. And that's if they're able to get it set up. Like, it is going to take a painstaking 3 turns. So another turn. Maybe they'll accidentally try to dance with the Ancients to it. I mean, we could all laugh and hope that our opponent makes a silly mistake like that. But you never know what's going through. Sometimes it's a misclick. We will be able to draw a few prize cards next turn, though, which is cute. Hopefully we could top deck an energy of some sort. That's really what we're looking for. I would pitch this entire hands just for a chance at an energy. There's Cape of Toughness. Maybe Cape of Toughness is going to be good on the Tapu Koko Prism Star. Maybe I should have attacked that Pokemon earlier. None of this matters because they have 180 HP now, right? One prize card. That's a good prize card. That's another good prize card. I like getting those kinds of things. Looks like our opponent's going to be able to take the knockout on our Decidueye this turn. which is a little, the Tapu Koko is a little scary. Oh, and they're going to go with Marnie. Wow, our opponent's kind of been planning this huge play. Now, it should be noted this is only for one prize card. So that's kind of huge. I don't know why they'd take an energy away. Especially if they're getting the knockouts. To me, that seems a little bit weird. But that's also completely fine. Let's go ahead here and let's grab one of the cards that might matter. Let's Stellar Wish. Okay, so we did get a Rosa. I mean, I have no complaints with Rosa. We can get a knockout, I think. Let's go Rosa for... Okay, so we're going to draw another 2 prize cards here. I don't think they're going to use Vikavolt again this game. So I feel fairly confident in grabbing this out. Maybe just another Jirachi, and we'll pass here. So I'm just trying to get out this one setup because we can grab a fresh Decidueye, attack into this Tapu Koko, and kind of force our opponent into a position where they might not necessarily like what's going to happen. And again, I'm totally fine with Marnie here. Marnie's obviously a little bit disruptive, but nothing's really getting lost here. We do have a Scoop Up Net already, so I mean, I'm not entirely hurt at our chances. Okay, so we are going to go ahead here and grab a Decidueye. I don't see any reason why not to. Let's go Stellar Wish. Do you have a Bosss Orders? Okay, let's just go ahead here and go Ordinary Rod. Ordinary Rod's going to grab back some of our resources. I think I'm okay with those resources. And I'm going to go Pokemon Communication, getting this Decidueye back. To grab a Dartrix. Let's put this energy there just to split our energies up. Our opponent has used 2 Crushing Hammers. And I am going to go ahead and Marnie here. So, I mean, I feel like there's a chance that we just win the game next turn. Maybe putting enough damage on this Dedenne GX. But I'm just going to go ahead here and pass. We need to get a Scoop Up Net in order to do that. So, I mean, let's just see how it goes. So if our opponent's not going like Bosss on this Decidueye, I think we're in a pretty good spot. There's another Orbital VMAX. And again, there's really not too many things that our opponent can do at this point, as long as we can start attacking with a Decidueye. I think they just got to go Mach Bolt to the active. Oh, okay. That part hurts a little bit more. I'm gonna send a Jirachi. You know, Ordinary Rod, put a couple back. We're gonna go Quick Ball, discarding away a Marnie for a Rowlet. Search for a Decidueye. Before we put Rowlet down, I am going to go for Stellar Wish. I don't really care too much about Quick Ball. So let's just go here and try to stop our opponent. It seems like this is their only real attacker here. Maybe there's just something else that they have. I'm just going to pitch this hand away. I don't care about any of these things. Okay. Okay, so just in case our opponent does do anything spooky, I am going to get a Grass Energy here. And we are just going to go ahead here and pass. So the Bosss Order win condition is gone because our Bosss Orders hit the discard pile. But I think we are getting pretty close here to maybe winning this game. Okay. Let's go ahead here, grab a Dartrix. And we're just going to go here and pass. If our opponent takes the knockout here, I'm not too concerned. I think they just got to take the knockouts. And then we get... Okay. This is our last energy of that kind. So I am just going to go here and play a Marnie. If we end up getting an energy that we could retreat with, I will go for it. I think they're just going to try to go for an Orbeetle VMAX strategy. And if they go into an Orbeetle VMAX, we definitely have to worry a little bit more. Yeah, I'd rather just go splitting arrow. Just going to go on those ones. Those are Pokemon that I could potentially knock out, especially with Obstagoon. So we'll have to see exactly what can go on here. If they go off one more Paralyzing Bolts, I think we have a really good chance of just going Rare Candy Obstagoon to win the game. But for all we know, it's not going to... It could happen differently. This game's a little bit longer than I expected it to go, to be honest. Absol. You know, it's their third. This would be their third Bosss Orders if they had one. And I mean, I think our opponent's playing exceptionally well if they... Oh no, 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 no. They kind of got us in this trap. What are we gonna do? I thought it was all gonna be good. Do they have the energies to get out of the active spot, though? I'm not entirely sure exactly what's going on. There's that 10. No, and they got us. That's okay. It totally happens. We'll have to get them next time. Well played to our opponents. So as you can see, sometimes you live by the text and you die by the text. We were able to get through the first game in a kind of unfavorable matchup, going the Obstagoon route because that route seemed the most secure. Able to play around our opponent's Sinistes, and in the last game, we did not get around our opponent's single Tapu Koko Prism Star because we struggled to get around Item Lock. So you can see this deck's a little bit hit or miss sometimes, but in more popular matchups like ADP-zation, Pikachu and Zekrom GX, this deck does have much better matchups. So in a more universal metagame, this is why this deck is very good. Again, if you're missing any of the cards for this deck, or if you want to get some of the cool arts, head over to PTCGO plug in code ZELASAGE5. Again, that is in the description below, and you can also check out my other sponsors if you want to hit me up for coaching, join our Discord, all that good stuff. Do that down there, and be sure likes, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll catch up with all of y'all next time. Have yourself a wonderful day. Really hope that you enjoyed watching that video. I totally enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like the video, share the video with everyone that you know, and subscribe to the channel as well. Totally appreciate all the support. We got a lot of cool things happening on the channel, so stay tuned for more. Be sure to check out the social links in the description. Thanks, and have yourself a great one.